in service. And you look back on his past, and there is absolutely no one that compares to his level of dedication, his level of service. And I think the man was born to serve, and he's just such a legend and such an honorable guy to call my friend.
You know, the typical American, he or she will get up in the morning, make their lunch, go to work, come home, and that's it. A veteran, they don't go home. You know, they're in different parts of the world doing things that they can't talk about to the normal person. And they do this for years. And the sacrifice is you can't pay for sacrifice like that. It comes from the heart. And it's important for people to recognize that. Try to put yourself in a veteran's active duty person's shoes. It's a different world. It takes dedication. As an infantryman and be in certain situations, your life is not guaranteed from morning till night. And we have thousands of heroes that do that every day. You had to work your way up to get into that position. I was recommended, which you had to be back then, by Senator Hart. And so I got a tryout at the tomb, and back then, a little over 94% of the people that tried out didn't make it. So you had to keep your nose to the stone and a lot of work. I did a lot of things in the Honor Guard group. I was on the Army drill team. We traveled a lot, extensively. Did a lot of White House type of work, White House arrivals. Did a couple of death watches in the rotunda. You had to be a tomb guard to do that. Back in the 70s, we were treated very poorly, very poorly. When we would travel, we would try to wear our civvies as much as we could. But our haircuts gave us away. I mean, we shaved every third day from the top of your head down. So when you put your cap on, there was no hair showing. But people would throw things at you, would spit at you, and I was fortunate to be in a group where people were usually very cordial and very appreciative of what you did. I don't know if you've ever been to the tomb, but it's a silent place. People don't do a lot of laughing and joking around there. If they do, the tomb guard will take care of that. But there were other times that wasn't so good. And as you know, I had the opportunity to be part of a mid-Michigan honors flight that went to DC. And I think there were 98 Vietnam vets there, a couple World War II vets. And it changed a lot of our thought process. You wouldn't believe when we went to 8 different memorials when we were in DC. We had a police escort, so we didn't have to put up with Washington DC traffic. We had flashing lights that took us from point A to point B. But I would easily say thousands of people would come up and say thanks, appreciate it. We never heard that. Sorry. It's just the way it was. When you go to the Vietnam Memorial Wall, they don't go home. Not of thousands. Something wrong with that. It's me on the map 21 steps down and 21 steps back and 21 seconds facing the tomb. I'll give you one example of famous people. Bob Hope. He did a lot of, we had went to China as a group with President Nixon and his group. Bob Hope was part of that. And he also did a lot of tours in Vietnam. Anyway, when some of the prisoners of war were returned to Washington, D.C., they had a big get-together. And we presented colors that night. And Bob Hope introduced himself to us 4 guys. About 4 weeks later, they had another big shindig out in California. Bob Hope was there, and he came up and repeated our names to us. I'm sure he got somebody to help him, to remind him, but that's class. I mean, he came up, he recognized, called me by my name, my rank, and thanked us for our service. And again, this was 50 years ago when people weren't happy to talk to you. It's different than the military, but even walking, as you well know, people stop you and say thank you. At a football game, just going through with your equipment, getting ready to set up, there's 20, 30 people you got to stop and shake their hand and reminisce about everything that's happened that week. And those connections are price. You know, you couldn't pay me to give away those experiences and friends that I have at Muskegon, at all the high schools locally. When we go somewhere, we'll put an address into the GPS and it'll turn out that we've already been there. There isn't hardly a high school in the state of Michigan that my lovely wife and I haven't gone to. And when you photograph Muskegon football, this year we had 2 Ohio games, so you put the miles on it. But my wife loves it because we can leave on Thursday and do a 2 or 3 day getaway, and we have fun doing that. And the kids, they recognize you when you show up to Dayton, Ohio to shoot a couple hours of football.